So I want to jumpstart this conversation about the fake empath with a little example. Let's, for example, look at Jasper. Jasper is a home health aide, and he has spent his entire career caring for people who can usually not care for themselves very well. Jasper's job is a big part of his identity. Another big part is his role in the church. He volunteers at the church multiple times a week, and you will find him there every single Sunday. Not only that, he'll talk to every single person there and ask all about how their lives are going. On paper, Jasper is a very empathetic person. But if we pull back that curtain, when nobody's looking, we can find that Jasper doesn't treat his clients very well. He's mean to them, he yells at them, and when they're not looking, he steals from them. At church, Jasper is kind to every single person he encounters, but behind their backs, he's sharing all their secrets, and he's dishing all the dirt that they don't want everyone to know. Jasper's quite the gossip. He's also a fake empath. If you've ever known anyone like Jasper, I want to hear about it in the comments below. And I'd also love to know the moment that it clicked for you, the moment that you realized that this person's empathy was completely manufactured. And if you can relate to this topic, go ahead and subscribe because there's a whole lot more content like that here. And if you hit that notification bell, you will be notified whenever I post a new video. So where do you stand right now? Do you know someone who is a fake empath? Or do you think maybe there are fake empaths hiding somewhere in your life? Maybe it's a combination of both, but I think we'll figure that out as we get through the 10 signs of a fake empath. So first, a fake empath is going to tell you how you feel. And they really feel justified in doing this because they think that they're much more in touch with your feelings than you could possibly be. After all, they are the expert at feelings. So make no mistake about it, this usually is gaslighting. If you tell them that you're feeling sad, you're feeling depressed, they might say, no, actually, you're not feeling sad or depressed. You're just, you're feeling rejected. And you just have to brush yourself off and you'll be fine. Or they'll have a list of things for you to do. Do X, Y, and Z, and you'll be better. And if you don't listen to them, then it's your fault. You're stupid. And you could feel better if only you would listen to this highly empathetic person who's clearly the expert. There's one really important thing about empathy that this person is missing, and that is that someone who is empathetic needs to first understand the other person's emotions and where they're coming from. Somebody who's empathetic doesn't jump in and assume they have all the answers. That is not empathy at all. Another sign of a fake empath is that this person really likes to dig into and exploit your bad feelings to make them look better and more empathetic. So this person is going to probe you on things that maybe you don't want to talk about, things that are painful for you. And just so the fake empath can be an empathetic shoulder to cry on, they're going to pull these things out from you. They're the type who will call you and ask you about all the bad things you have going on in your life. How's this? Did this get better? Oh, it didn't. Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Man, if only you could catch a break. The problem is that somebody who does this consistently is feeding off of your negative emotions. And it's true that a good friend will talk to you about the good times and the bad. And if they know you're struggling, they might ask about something that's going on in your life. The difference here is that someone with empathy is going to let you decide how to navigate this conversation. Now, that fake empath is going to keep bringing it up every single time, even though they know you don't want to talk about it. And of course, they're going to act like they're doing this for your benefit. Rest assured, this is only for the benefit of the fake empath because, like I said, one, they might be feeding off of your negative emotions, but two, you might be feeding them gossip so that they can go around and tell everybody your story. And also, you should know that they're going to tell the story under the guise of worry and concern for you. They might share your deepest, darkest, most personal secrets. And as they're doing so, tell other people that they're doing it because they care so much about you. The third sign that someone is a fake empath is that they can't accept criticism. Now, as you might have picked up from the example I gave you in the beginning, you're very likely to find a fake empath in a position where they're caring for other people. And this is absolutely not to say that people who are in a position of caring for other people should be suspect. There are so many amazing people who really do dedicate their lives to caring for others. But at the same time, there are some who make it their life's mission to project that holier than thou image, to project that highly empathetic, I'm more empathetic than you image. And those people go into fields where they're helping others, or you might find them volunteering a lot, because that supports the image. And it makes it more difficult for you to question them. So when people build their lives in this way and they're not being authentic, it provides them with sort of a protective layer that it makes it difficult for other people to actually call their intent into question. But these people are actually relatively easy to spot when they are in the workplace because they cannot handle criticism. And somebody who is working for someone else is going to have to accept some sort of criticism at some point. And somebody who is working with the public, same thing. That criticism sometimes is constructive and sometimes not. But what you'll find consistently with this fake empath is that they do not accept that criticism very well at all. And this is also true, of course, outside of the workplace. So if you have someone like this in your family, you're going to notice that they are always right. And somebody who has a lot of empathy does not always assume that they're right. That's kind of the opposite of what empathy is. So the next sign that someone is a fake empath is that, well, they brag about having so much empathy. Empathy is something that we can be aware of, but it's not a contest. We all have different levels of empathy. And somebody who's trying to make it a contest, somebody who's trying to make it seem like they have so much more empathy than anyone else in the world, is really showing their true colors. Because in that case, empathy becomes like a game that they're trying to win. Look at me, I'm the best. I'm the most empathetic. You cannot be more empathetic than me. Another sign that someone is a fake empath is that they blame other people for how they feel. And this very much is a victim mentality. So the fake empath will always be outraged by someone else's behavior. And this one pairs really well with the fake empath who cannot accept criticism. Because this is usually when it comes out. Whenever somebody questions them, criticizes them, maybe even just nicely suggests that they can do things differently, the fake empath is going to get angry and they're going to lash out at the other person. And sometimes when this person lashes out, they do so in a passive aggressive way, but still they're going to make their anger known. And what's more, it's going to be your fault. It's your fault they're angry. And now you have to deal with it. You have to suffer the consequences of making them angry. Because after all, you did it. And with a fake empath, usually there's also a furthermore. And furthermore, you know how sensitive I am. How dare you be that direct with me? Another sign of a fake empath is that this person gravitates towards emotional situations. And as they're doing so, they kind of seem to fixate on how other people express empathy. It's almost like they're studying. And somebody who is faking empathy very much does study how people express empathy, how people show compassion for one another. And another way that this will come out is that sometimes the things that they say and do seem almost scripted, because a lot of times people who don't have a lot of empathy will watch movies to learn how to act in certain situations when it doesn't feel natural for them. And the next sign someone's faking empathy is you may notice over the top reactions. They're just a little bit extreme for the situation. So imagine you're in a place where everyone's sad. Maybe it's a funeral or something similar. The person with fake empathy might be the person who is crying the loudest, regardless of their connection with the person. So it might be completely over the top, like you didn't even know this person that well. I'm surprised you're so upset. Because fake empaths are actually faking empathy. Sometimes they get it wrong. And unless you know that this is a thing that people with low empathy do, it's really easy to write it off and just think, well, that was weird. Or that's just the way they are, I guess. But it can actually be dangerous to ignore the signs of a fake empath. Because when someone is consistently faking empathy, it points to a deficiency in emotional empathy. And if you have a deficiency in emotional empathy, that can be really dangerous to another person's emotional well-being. If you've ever had a relationship with a narcissist, you know what I'm talking about. Another sign of a fake empath is that this person cannot wait to deliver bad news. When something bad happens, this person, first of all, is in the middle of it. And they're going to go around and they're going to tell everyone. They want to be the bearer of bad news. And in my opinion, this is another area where someone who's faking empathy just gets it wrong. So the person who can't wait to deliver bad news, they in some way probably are feeding off of the negativity of the situation. And then as they share the news, they're feeding off of the other people's emotional reaction to the bad news. And they will definitely try to mask the joy behind it if they are taking any sort of pleasure in it. They're going to try and keep that down. But you can tell when someone is really, truly happy inside and pretending to be completely distraught, right? That there's a big range of emotions. So happy pretending to be completely emotionally wrecked, it's probably not going to work unless you are an incredible actor. So if you know someone who takes pleasure in delivering bad news, and as they're delivering it, they want you to think that they are just the most empathetic person, that they wanted to be the ones to deliver the bad news because, they have such a big heart and they want to be there to care for you. If you can relate, you may have a fake empath in your life already. Another sign of a fake empath is quick changes in emotional state. So somebody might be crying over the top, just, the crocodile tears, and then something else catches their attention and it's over. They're fine. They are completely over it. So with this sign, I'll say you want to pay attention to consistent behavior. So if they're constantly switching emotions back and forth and there's no other reason for it, or if you notice this one along with other signs on this list, then I would say it's a red flag. And the last sign I want to share before we talk about the difference between the fake empath and the dark empath is that you notice something's just off. Like I said, somebody who's faking empathy is not always going to get it right. And you might not be able to put your finger on exactly what it is, but it feels off. And that's really what intuition is. So intuition can feel spiritual. It can feel like there's some sort of divine intervention going on, but it doesn't have to be that. Intuition also describes the nonverbal cues that we're picking up subconsciously that really give us a full picture of what's happening in the moment. So if you're picking it up subconsciously, you are not consciously aware of exactly what it is, but still, as a whole, you just know. So now let's talk about the difference between a dark empath and a fake empath. So a dark empath has been identified as someone who has traits similar to what you would find in the dark triad. However, they also have higher levels of empathy than you'll find in a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath. So a dark empath typically is not quite as dangerous as a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath because they're not quite as aggressive. A dark empath is less manipulative, less controlling than one of the dark personalities. However, a fake empath usually is a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath. It's somebody who wants you to think that they have empathy because they want to gain your trust. but it's based on something that's completely false. It's all a lie. And sometimes these people fake empathy purely because it helps their image, because they want to be seen as someone who has a lot of empathy. And sometimes they do it to take advantage of someone else. So, from everything that I've learned about empathy and dark empaths and faking empathy, I would guess that the dark empath would feel less of a need to fake who they are. I think that a dark empath more often shows up as themselves. And I would love to get your thoughts on that. Have you known somebody who fakes empathy? Have you known a dark empath? Let's talk about it in the comments. And if you want to dig deeper into this topic, I have another video where I talk about the signs and the dangers of low empathy. And I'm going to link to that one right here. But before you go, don't forget to like this video. That helps YouTube know that it's a valuable video that more people need to see. I will see you next time.